Welcome to another 21 Hats Dashboard brought to you by our sponsor, The Great Game of Business. I'm Loren Feldman. I'm here with Lou Mosca today to talk about the things we think business owners should be following this week. Lou runs American Management Services, a consulting firm that works with businesses all over the country that want to improve their performance. Welcome, Lou.
How are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm talking to you.
I think we did that last week. I always enjoy it.
Well, we used to talk regularly on the Sirius XM radio show, which unfortunately we don't do anymore. I missed that. It's great to be able to check in with you.
That was a good time.
Well, let me do what I always do, which is put you on the spot and ask you, you and your team are out there in the trenches talking to business owners all the time. There's been so much turmoil of late, going back a couple of years, but things just keep changing, whether it's inflation or supply chains or, the threat of recession. I think we've had 7 rumored recessions the last year or so, but no real ones. What are you seeing? What are you hearing from your clients?
I think that, from our perspective, things for us have been a little crazy. So whether it was a pandemic or whether it's the threat of a recession, I think the biggest driver recently with our clients has been the cost of money, and not just but as interest rates have gone up, bankers have gotten a little maybe kerflooey sometimes. Everything is in their favor, and they don't love it when things are not so much in their favor. So our clients are feeling a little bit of stress. But I tell you, Loren, it's bizarre. After 37 years of doing this, and I've been doing it for 25, but after 37 years of doing this in American management, our clients are always in a couple of buckets. You got guys that are doing fantastic no matter what's going on, guys that are borderline, make a little, lose a little, make a little, lose a little. And I don't think that that's been any different for us in all my years doing it. I just think it takes on a different perspective when you have economic challenges that go along with it.
But do you think the success of your businesses depend primarily on the businesses themselves and how they're run, or does the economy really make the difference?
I just have this fundamental thing that goes on in the 4 walls of a business is the owner's responsibility. It's their job to plan it right, execute right, have the right people, hold people accountable. Outside facts can influence you, but you should have created something strong enough. I don't let our clients make excuses about the economy or recessions or anything. We do our job right or we don't. There's no middle ground, and that's what we want for our clients. And if they tell us at the end of a project, I feel great now because now my company is like yours. And that could be a little daunting sometimes, but I like that.
You mentioned the concern about getting capital and banks being a little bit slower to lend these days. Can you generalize about what your clients are looking to get that capital for? Are they looking for expansion? Are they looking for lines of credit to tide them through a tough time? What are they looking for?
I have a client right now that's doing about $15 million, and they're in their contractor, and they owe no one a penny. They have no debt, absolutely no debt. Had a client recently in Louisiana that had applied for about $1.5 million to open up 2 additional stores and got permission, got a yes, and then it blew up on her. She had to decide if she wanted to walk away or stick with it. So I think banks are getting very particular in what they do, whether you have borrowings with them or not. I think they're getting very particular, created an ability for them to be a little bit more selective. And now I think that with interest rates having doubled or tripled in the last 12 months, I think it's given them the ability to be punitive on how they look at the opportunity sometimes.
The client you mentioned who had the loan lined up and then it blew up, did something change, or did the bank just decide to walk away?
The bank didn't decide to walk away. What the bank wound up doing is going from their customary letter of intent with terms in it, and they changed the term when it got to the closing and jacked rates up dramatically and the fees up dramatically.
I see.
And she actually walked away, but the bank tried to take advantage of what they could, and quite frankly, she needs to leave that bank.
Did she proceed with the expansion, or is she looking to find the money somewhere else?
She backed up. Did not do it, backed up.
That's got to be tough.
Well, George, who used to founded our company, and I know you knew him. He used to tell me all the time, and owners are the eternal optimists, Loren. They think they can get that deal, get that next sale, open that next store, put that barge, lift that bale kind of thing. And I totally agree with that. That an independent business owner just thinks that they're coated in Teflon and they can withstand anything, grow anything. I just think that there's a warrior's mentality and soul. But in this case, I'm glad the young lady walked away because what the bank wanted killed her.
That warrior's mentality you refer to can be a real advantage or it can be a disadvantage. Which do you think it is more often?
I think almost always an advantage. I think that if you treat your business as anything less than the war that it is, then you're going to shortchange yourself and you're going to shortchange your customers, your vendors, and ultimately your employee and your staff. And business is war. You could talk about the business, but business is a war, right? You need a strategy or a business plan. You need something that says this is what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, and why we're going to do it. Then you got to have timelines. You got to have deliverables. But it's not a game. It's not 9 innings baseball. It's over and you go to the next one. If you lose a deal in business, it could be the difference between you keeping the loan payment or supporting family and your friends. So, I just think I want every owner I meet to have that warrior's mentality. Doesn't mean to be a jerk, but a warrior's mentality in that you're going to go that extra mile for you.
What are you seeing in the labor market these days? Is the labor shortage over? Are your clients as well staffed as they want to be?
Yeah, we were in Columbus, Iowa with the Conference of Mayors a couple of weeks ago, and a couple of the mayors were talking about employee shortages in their communities, especially in industry restaurants. There were about 2 weeks ago, again, there were about 10 million job postings, job openings in the country, 10 million. So employees and employers are getting more selective. I will tell you that most of our clients throughout the pandemic remained open and functioned inside of four walls. Very few did this, we're going to work from home 8 days a week and you can come in one day every other week. They didn't do that. And I find the talent pool, I'll talk about American management, the pool of talent that we've been getting applications on has jumped dramatically.
Lou, back when we did that radio show, well before the pandemic, we used to joke a lot about working from home. Mm-hmm. As I recall, you were not a big fan of it. Did the last few years change your impression of that at all?
I think that while I hate to admit it, I'm willing to entertain alternatives nowadays that I would not have 5 or 6 years ago. Just would not have occurred to me. We have all of our folks back in the office. If someone needs to work from home, we've carved out a formula that if it's doable, a specific amount of time per month, but beyond that, it's not acceptable. And we try to keep it consistent forever. But I think there are people that can be productive remotely, and I think there are people that aren't productive when they're not remotely. So I think that's just human nature.
Have you seen anything interesting recently in terms of marketing? Have any of your clients figured out anything new? I mean, there's been a lot of change in that area as well, especially with digital marketing. What are you seeing there?
I think marketing is unique. It's too often people lump sales and marketing together, and they're really absolute distinct functions, right?
Yep.
We tell our clients from a marketing perspective, don't spend a lot of money on digital marketing. Get off your fanny, get in your car, go visit people yourself. Even telling you to go to try to take orders, place orders, or have them buy from you. You want to market yourself? Get out there. You want to market yourself? Get out agents for marketing. From an American management perspective, we have spent a fair amount of money in the last 18 months on social media and digital marketing, and it is extraordinarily instantly inconsistent. So what we spend on one month, and we're talking about well into five figures sometimes, you would think you'd get some consistent type of yield, and you don't. So you have to be in it for the long haul, which is why we never suggest to our clients to get up and go greet people.
You can reach a lot more people online than you can in your car. Doesn't that depend on what kind of business you're talking to?
Well, I think that you can meet a lot more people online, touch them than you can in your cars for sure, except you might reach 2,000 prospects, but only two of them might be qualified. You as an owner should be able to know who's qualified for what you do, where you're qualified for what you. So I think that if you're a contractor or if you're a manufacturer, you should be able to know, visit, and who to go see. I do think you should have social media presence, and I do think you should have a website that is functioning and current. So we just read the face of our website and some of the pages in our website about 4 or 5 weeks ago, not live after about 6 months instruction, and the traffic without the digital marketing spend. So to keep your session refreshed so that the Google monster can understand that you're out there and that you're alive is probably a smart thing, but I wouldn't rely on it because you can't compete with the Amazon. Look, in my world, right, the largest consulting firm out there is probably Deloitte. How am I going to compete with Deloitte from a digital marketing perspective? So I can't. So I put what I can. I do what I can. I'd rather touch people and shake their hands.
Do you feel you're competing with Deloitte for the same customers?
I think when things are tough, everybody wants the same customers. So, I'm not going to compete with Deloitte to get General Motors as a client. It's never going to happen. And why would I waste my time even trying? The difference is, they've got resources in the world, and we just bring a lot of work and sweat equity.
That makes sense. You mentioned Google before. Is that where you're doing most of your digital marketing? We're talking AdWords.
If you look at it in the last 18 months, we've done probably Google and Facebook advertising, and the only one that has paid dividends is Google.
Interesting.
And the other were pretty expensive per click, or however they do their measurements. The one that's been beneficial to us is Google.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you were doing that when we were speaking regularly on the radio. Were you?
No, we just started this about a year and a half, 2 years ago. We had a goal that we wanted it to generate excellent revenue and billable hours. It surpassed it in September. So it was definitely the right thing to do. But keeping the message fresh all the time and creating landing pages to attract contractors or truckers or retailers that's what makes it unique. And we have done that years ago. So that's what we've done in the last year and a half or so, and it's really proved beneficial to us. But from our clients' perspective, we just try to help get their websites functional, Loren. Half of them don't even have their websites functional, and the links are broken, and it's just a challenge across the board. And we want them to get out and touch their clients.
So you really encourage them more to pound the pavement than to advertise digitally.
But, if you think about it, we do work with people that do $3 million a year in revenue up to $100 million a year in revenue, and all almost always privately owned. But our sweet spot is right in that $6 to $12 million range. $6 to $12 million. So to get them to even consider spending $50,000 or $60,000 a month on Google Ads or some type of social media activity is a bitter pill to swallow. To teach them how to get in their car and go with them to go meet a client or prospective client, where I really want them to go is go to the people they've lost. And how many times that they've not gone revisited the people that used to buy from them every month. That I find absolutely alarming. And you can spend the money you want on social media. Doesn't mean that guy's coming back. You go knock on his door and have a conversation with him, you have an opportunity. At least you got your face in the door again.
That's a great suggestion. I am curious. You said the idea of getting them to spend $60,000 a month is probably a non-starter. Do you think it takes that amount of spending to do it right?
I think that it's different for everyone. We've had close to $35,000 or $40,000 primarily. We wouldn't have done it if we weren't comfortable with our herds and all the landing pages. We track the traffic every week. We know what's working and what's not working. If you're going to do it, you got to be all the way. To just dabble is a mistake. The way we suggest, instead of just throw more money at it. And it's still kind of random when you're dealing with the internet. You don't know what kind of responses you're going to get.
You're obviously a B2B operation. Have you had any success on LinkedIn?
Actually, we've had no success on LinkedIn with B2B advertising. We've had a little success on LinkedIn with recruit. Trying to, LinkedIn Navigator allow you to select some candidates and chat with them. One of the things that's always concerned me about just the whole concept of digital marketing is, I'll talk about us again, we get a lot of contacts each week, but even the ones that are in the threshold of the site, they contact you and they give you the information. So they'll fill out a landing page. Loren Feldman, owner of Loren Feldman Incorporated, 9.5 65 employees. I manufacture pens. My issues are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Try to communicate with them. It creates a little bit of angst. I sort of feel like they fill this stuff on the internet, then they get a touch of buyer's remorse that they, expose themselves to someone. From a client perspective, clients pay us a pretty hefty fee, especially if we're working with them for a long time. I want to make sure they get good results. And the way time is, you put the client in the car, you go somewhere, you greet someone, you shake their hand. If they've done business with you before, they do again. And we'd much rather they do that than go spending money on the internet hoping something's going to resonate.
Lou, with all the mixed messages we've gotten on the economy for the last at least a year and maybe more, I'm curious, are there any metrics that you watch in particular, either about the economy in general or your business in particular? Is there anything that you watch to keep your eye on the ball?
I think that there's a couple of things that everyone should do, whether they do it or not. I can't answer that. So, again, American Management, we do a cash P&L every week. We do our financials within 5 days into the month. We want our clients to be on top of everything that they do. And I will tell you, not one of our clients talks to us about angst over rising costs or having to pay more for labor than they had to pay 5 years ago. But all of them are confident in where their business is going and how they're getting there. We want every one of our clients to do what we do. Cash P&L, weekly balance sheet. Let's make sure we're checking where we're at all the time, because, you can't control if there's a formal recession or not. And really, inflation, recession, I don't even know who comes up with this crap and who determines what is and what isn't sometimes. My clients just worry about, can I get what I need to make what I want to sell if I have to? And our job is to help them get there.
All right. Lou Mosca runs American Management Services, a consulting firm based in Orlando. This episode was brought to you by The Great Game of Business, which helps businesses use an open book management system to help build healthier companies. You can learn more at greatgame.com. Thank you, Lou.
Loren, it's always my privilege. I enjoyed chatting last week, and I'll connect with you again real soon. Thank you for having me.
I hope so, and I will certainly do that. Have a great week, everyone.